Welcome back to North of the Broad. I'm your host, Karen Wyman, coming to you from Higher Ground in Buford. I'm joined this afternoon by Jack Gannon, author of I Walked in Santa's Boots. Welcome to the show, Jack.
Thank you, Karen.
This is really interesting. I had no idea that I would be sitting down with a gentleman who was Santa Claus for so many years.
And you've written very many wonderful letters over the years.
I have. I fell off the wagon a little bit, but I might want to get back on there.
Well, it was a new wagon delivered as well.
Thank you so much. Why did you write this book?
Well, after 23 years as Santa Claus for Buford and the Low Country, it just didn't feel like it was very polite to just say, I'm retired and I'm done. And so I wrote this as a thank you letter to all the businesses and companies, communities and individuals and the city of Buford for inviting me in to be their Santa Claus for these decades.
Certainly a privilege, without a doubt, to be in that role for such a long period of time.
It was a very great honor, and especially being called back every year, I must have been doing something right.
I think so, you must have had just the right spirit. When did you begin serving as Santa Claus for Buford?
Way back in 1993. That was my very first Christmas season, and of course with nobody to teach me how to be Santa Claus, I just winged it on a lot of hope, prayer, and mistletoe, and eggnog.
And eggnog, you took the words out of my mouth. So in the book, you describe yourself as being a Christian Santa Claus, not a retail Santa Claus. And how would you differentiate the two?
To me, a retail Santa Claus has far too many restrictions. In this current politically correct climate, you've got stores with employees that can't say Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays, right?
It's happy holidays, but I counter with, well, what holiday does Santa Claus arrive for? Arrives for Christmas. So I was not encumbered by those kind of rules. In fact, all my appearances as Santa Claus had Merry Christmas and God bless you and best wishes at every event. So I was very sharing in my faith without proselytizing.
Right. True in the spirit of you, authentic in your portrayal of Santa Claus.
And after all, Santa Claus is the current incarnation of the original St. Nicholas from back in the 4th century.
So you certainly must have done something right all those years after portraying him for as long as you have. Obviously, there's got to be lots and lots of memories. Anything in particular that stands out through all the years as being something that really comes to the top?
So many, so very many, and in fact there's a good one in this book. It's called A Miracle on Bay Street. I'll give you the abridged version of it. I was in the middle of Bay Street with Mrs. Claus and one of Santa's elves, and they turned me to this one particular family, and Mrs. Claus told me that the family was visiting from France, and their little daughter did not understand what was going on because she didn't speak English, and the parents told her, that's okay, Santa Claus only speaks English here. So I got down on my knee in front of her, and I said, bonsoir. Je m'appelle Papa Noël, mais ici, je m'appelle Santa Claus, ça va? And at that point, you could have heard a pin drop in the middle of Night on the Town on Bay Street.
Made a little girl probably very happy.
She had 5 minutes or so all to herself with Santa Claus.
And probably something that she'll never forget herself as well.
I hope so.
I hope not. So retiring from walking in Santa's boots after 23 years, what brought you to the decision that it was time to step away?
It was mostly medical reasons. I've been dealing with a couple illnesses the last couple of years that made me feel that it was better to retire while I was still at the top of my game.
I was going to say, go out with a bang, right?
Yes, and last year was a bang-up year for certain.
Got it. So obviously, leaving a lasting impression for many people here in Buford and Buford County. But what will you do now that you're not spending Christmas season in the red suit and the black boots?
Well, I have a few book signings coming up during the balance of December. including a presentation at the Beaufort Library, historic, the district collection. Also be at Macintosh Bookshop to wrap up the season on December 16th. And then after that, I'm going to look at the Christmas lights like everybody else.
Oh, enjoy. Sit back and enjoy, right?
With some hot cocoa and some eggnog.
There you go. Excellent. Well, thank you, Jack, so much for being a guest on North of the Broad this afternoon, bringing your beautiful book, I Walked in Santa's Boots, to share with our community, and just sharing your story over the last 23 years. Thank you so much for your service.
It's been a pleasure and great honor, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, too. Not quite yet. Let's get through Thanksgiving first, and then we'll definitely share Merry Christmas.
Well, true. Santa Claus doesn't arrive until the end of the Macy's parade.
That's right. Well, thank you so much for being a guest. We so appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
We'll be right back with our next guest on North of the Broad.